with Marie, and we've got our two co-hosts down on the ground. So sorry we didn't start this at 7:30 sharp. Well, let everyone have time to get here anyways. But yes, we had a bit of an oil spill from the chocolate brown baby poodle. So I had to take her outside. A little bit of potty training going on here. So tonight's show, welcome to tonight's show. We're going to be talking about the Ford Maverick. Really, the 2023 Ford Maverick. What happened? And what is happening and what needs to happen. So I'm looking forward to your comments. I'm looking forward to your questions. We'll do questions in about 15 minutes because we've got about a 15 to 20 minute show, max 30. Then we'll do about 10 minutes of Q&A. Want to make sure we answer as many people's questions as possible. But let's just put the pedal to the metal and get right down to talking about the 2023 Ford Maverick. Part of this is really important. It covers what your dealer needs to do before October 5th. And you're going to know whether your dealer is doing your order correctly or right based on information I'm going to be giving. So you might want to have a pen and a paper, kind of have a bit of a checklist that you create and say, okay, did my dealer do this? Did this result in the next step? Because then you're going to know whether basically you've got a real order in, because I've mentioned this a while back and it became now true for Canada, but in the United States this has been going on for a year, you could say, about, and you've got sort of orders that just basically get seen and viewed as kind of just inventory, a demand for inventory, and then there's orders that the dealer is really promising to Ford that you're a real client, you're real, you want your vehicle, and that they're not going to lose you. Why would they lose you? Well, bad service, overcharging, price. And talking about price, I've got good news, not just for the Canadians, really good news for this Canadian right here, but we'll talk about price and how do you know if you're getting the right price. Bit of a quick what to do. This is beyond just my 10 steps video. I have an 8 steps video and I have a 10 steps video. So we've talked about price and how to get the right price out of a dealer. So we won't go into detail because I can talk about that for an hour. And clearly I have in the 2 videos. So if you want to catch up on that. Now, just as a side note, before we get into the heavy and deep, because I see people are still coming into the show, so we'll let a few more come in. But we have put in the description, and we're going to be doing this now, a little list of things you can buy. And this is kind of important. Things you can buy for your Ford, because really there's a lot of things you don't want to order with your Ford because it's going to cause unnecessary delays. It's going to slow down your order beyond the stuff that you can't replace. You obviously can't replace a luxury package on a Maverick. And you know, an F-150 XLT or Lariat, you can't replace the 502 package on the Lariat or the 302 package on the Sport. But we're talking about accessories that cause excessive problems. I should have titled this accessories that cause excessive problems. That kind of sounds, well, it's actually, it is bad, but it kind of sounds nice. So anyways, let's get right down to the show. Marie, why don't you announce the first little bit of, why don't you ask me the first question?
Yeah, no problem. So is that true that in the USA, the hybrid was sold on September 20th at 10 p.m. and for the EcoBoost, September 21st on 10 p.m.?
Yeah, it's surprising, and I'm going to explain why this happened, but this is very true. In the US, the Ford Maverick is sold out. It means that new orders coming in, they're closed. Now, does this mean, let's say if you have an old order from 2022 that has yet to be properly converted into a 23, does it mean that it's not going to be accepted? I don't have anything 100% confirmed, but I highly suspect the answer is no. I highly suspect actually your dealer is going to have until, I'm hoping they're going to have until October 5th to put in your COVP, customer order verification process. Just they're verifying your identity, and in a way they're kind of telling Ford and signing that, you know, they're going to sell it to you at the 2023 pricing, but that's not all that you need to be actually protected. But it's a dealer's way to tell Ford, like, hey, this customer is going to be treated properly. We're not going to lose them. Real customer, we will not lose. Build it for us more quickly. Now, on the downside, the dealer does lose the customer. Well, if they lose a certain percentage, they're not getting built not getting builds on any models for an entire month. This is a great system that Ford has made to get dealers in line, because contrary to what you'll see on some videos that have, you know, a few million hits on them, views, or, you know, velocity keeps going over, they end their videos with, you know, dealers are gone, there's going to be direct sales. That is not what's happening at Ford, and this is why last night's video, if you haven't watched it, watch it. I'm talking about, you know, no more markups. I really answer the question of what's going on with dealers at Ford, and I think the Ford model is actually, the new model coming down the road is going to be very good. It's going to solve a lot of problems, and I look forward to seeing that actually get probably adopted by the heritage dealers, the dealers that, you know, sorry, the heritage brands that have been around for a while and have the infrastructure to offer extra quality service. So anyways, I won't get into that because that was its own video. So yes, September 20th, 10 p.m. Hybrid sold out in the US. On the 21st, the EcoBoost sold out at 10 p.m. Now in Canada, on those dates, we're still waiting around. It was Wednesday. It was just this week. It was either Wednesday night or... Do you remember when I told you I had confirmed your order? Marie's is pretty much the oldest order sitting around at our dealership. So I tested it with hers and she was accepted. However, this is for if you're in Canada. If you're in Canada, I'm still waiting for the official go-ahead. The order guide this week, I believe it was late Wednesday night or Thursday morning, the order guide actually became available, as well as the pricing guide. When I put hers in, Wednesday night, 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m., didn't even know what the pricing would be, but we know she really wants her Maverick. So we pushed that through, and I've got some really good news for her and for other Canadians. But we'll get through that in the questions, because I'm just trying to stay on topic so this is as clear as possible. So yeah, in Canada, the good news is things are now moving. We've got our order guide, we've got our price guide, and the system will accept those orders. So start converting them. So I almost blew your punchline. I'll let you ask the next question.
Because I want to know when will I get my confirmation order, because I don't have one yet.
Well, you're going to get that. That's a tough one. If you're in Canada, I do want to say Marie has yet to get her confirmation email. If you're in the States, you should get it a day or two after you go to the dealership, if the dealership puts through all the paperwork, because we understand what COVP is, Customer Order Verification Process. That's Ford actually getting faxed a copy of your driver's license. Faxed, at least here in Canada, we have a few other sheets signed, and they really do see that, the driver's license signature with the offer that you're signing and your build, you're signing off on your build saying, yes, I want a 2023 at this price. Her sheet, I had to kind of modify everything by hand. We didn't know the price yet. And actually, in Canada, our internal systems, dealers aren't actually able to build with the whole computing system, the actual price of the Maverick. So it's kind of, modifying a 2022 and putting the new base price corrected by hand. But that gets faxed off. Now, if you're in the States, your dealer has until October 5th to get that out. And when they get that out, Ford gets your email. And when they process this, they're going to send you an email saying, order confirmed. So you definitely want to get that if you're in the States. Otherwise, they did not COVP. And I would actually, if you're in the States, ask that you get your order verified, your customer order verification process done before the 5th, so you can get the email before, so you get your proof before it's too late. So when you're going to the dealer, if they haven't already done so, you can call your dealer and say, hey, look, I really want my order to be verified by Ford. Can you put it through? Can you push it through? Fax it to them so that I get my email confirming that everything is A-OK. Now, what about You must be curious a bit about the price.
Yeah, I don't know what will happen. So with the price protection and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, the great news, if you're in the US, you should have already gotten an email saying that, you're price protected. You're getting $1,750 off for your 23 EcoBoost, or you're getting $2,750 off for your hybrid. But here's the thing, in Canada, this was kind of like, we didn't think this was going to happen, but great news, Marie, you're getting your 23 price protected. Now,
Yay!
we didn't have a COVP process, but still in Canada at the time when she ordered last summer. This is new. This is as of this summer, late summer. And we're sorry if you hear a bit of metallic sound. That is a little technical difficulty called a ball of chocolate fur.
She's eating everything right now.
Yeah, she's eating
the table feet.
She was eating the table, so I'm sorry if that was coming through. Marie, we'll take the time so that you don't have the whole video with that scratchy metallic noise. She has razor blades. If we have any marks on our faces in the next while, just know that's how she wakes us up. So, yeah, here's the thing with this price protection. If, however, here's two guaranteed ways to know you're not going to get price protected. And we're also going to talk about future price protection. Very important, I covered this. First, if you ordered a hybrid after November 15th, that's when Ford said they were sold out. So if you order after November 15th, you're not price protected. And if you do somehow get one, you're just really lucky you snuck between the cracks. Because once Ford says it's sold out, it's saying like, well, we're not taking your order anymore. If they're not taking your order, you can't protect that price. Now for the EcoBoost, from recollection, that was January 27th. And I'm sure someone in one of the crew members or one of our subscribers will drop a little note on that. For those of you that do recall, it was either January 30th or the 27th. But if you ordered your EcoBoost after that date, 2022, January 27th, Ford said they were sold out. So you're not getting price protected. Now here's another way to know you're not going to get price protected. And, in the States, it's great. It's actually an email sent to you. So you could actually take that rebate, that special offer, and go to whatever dealer. In case you've had really bad service at your current dealer. I know one dealer that's going to treat you right, and that's Tim Bartz at Long MacArthur. The man is a gentleman and a scholar. I like to call him the legend, but he'll take good care of you. I have faith right there. And they can actually do drop shipping delivery, so they can, even if you're in another state, they'll take care of you. So if you're outside of those dates, remember November 15th hybrid. If you're past, that's 2021 or January 27th, 2022 for the EcoBoost, you're definitely not getting price protected. Now here's the tricky thing. The dates that just went by. If you got your new order in before the 20th for a hybrid of September, or the 21st of September for an EcoBoost, just this past week, if you got your order in before then, so it opened up Thursday and then poof, gone the 20th and 21st. If you got your new order in during that time period, you're going to get that price, the new price, throughout the 2023 model year production time. So in 2023 at some point, they'll make 24. So let's say next November. But before then, roughly, you're going to get a 23, and you should get it at that initial price. Now, here's the thing. Sorry, I'm just I was half reading a comment and also going through this thought process. It pops up on the screen for me. So if you order during those dates, you're going to get 2023 pricing, or you should. You can definitely work towards negotiating and fighting for that with your dealer. And it's really something that you should, as soon as possible, get your dealer to have either a signed offer or a signed purchase offer or lease offer that says this is the price, and they sign. Your signature isn't worth anything in this case. It's their signature you got to pick up. Or if on your build sheet, they just want to give you a build sheet and sign that and either write by hand or add on with, print onto it, modify it to say they will sell it to you, whatever happens to be the best overall deal for you. Either the deal when your Maverick comes in, or the deal when you order, but that they do promise that they will, at least give you the current pricing, that they'll reserve that. So they can do that. Now, if you order after these dates, well, it's sold out, right? In the US, it's sold out. So you're not getting price protected. And if you did order between those dates, but it gets turned into a 2024, so you don't get built in time, there'll be no carryover price protection. Even if your dealer back in 2021 or now 2022, even if they properly COVP'd everything, they did a customer order verification process. Well, if you get turned into a 2024, you're gonna have to pay 2024 pricing. Ford has already stipulated that they won't be carrying on prices. Their cost of production keeps going up. So basically, I can understand. They're saying we can't sell you a 2024 Maverick at a price we made up back in May and June of 2021. Companies usually try to avoid going bankrupt. It'll be good for all of us that they don't go bankrupt and we continue getting good vehicles, because Ford is on a streak of making amazing vehicles. Maverick, Bronco, Lightning, Mach-E. These are all vehicles that are selling like crazy. Demand is wild. Honda Ridgeline, Consumer Reports enjoyed saying that it's better. They gave it more points than the Maverick Hybrid. I don't understand. Yes, the Honda Ridgeline is faster, but it uses a lot more gas. Yeah, it has more power, but it uses a lot more gas. It costs a lot more. And yes, it tows more than the hybrid, but it was possibly the worst comparison. You're comparing a full gasoline Honda Ridgeline, way out of price, to the hybrid. At least compare it to the EcoBoost that pulls 4,000 pounds and is actually faster than the Honda Ridgeline. But I think Consumer Reports, for whatever reason, they wanted to put the Honda Ridgeline with much better points to say it's a better truck. I don't understand what happened there. I don't have the full backstory to that, but I find it was odd, negligent that they just look at the hybrid, at least look at the hybrid and the EcoBoost. If obviously they just value acceleration so much over basically and towing over everything, well, at least compare it to the EcoBoost and show, oh, well, there's only 1,000 pounds of towing difference. And hey, the EcoBoost Maverick is faster than the Ridgeline. And then if you want to really still look like you're not pointing things correctly, give them the same points, even though one costs a lot more. So anyways, I think Consumer Reports really messed up on that one. And I hope they don't come after me for saying this. It's just my opinion, and we're all allowed our opinions. And I think we should get to express them without, people getting excessively upset. I think there should never, for expressing one's opinion, no one should ever be bringing up the subject of, a lawsuit or defamation or any of this. That's just silly. That's playground. You took my toy, that's my toy because I looked at it first. No, it's the public school's toy. It's everyone's toy. Anyways, I've been playing with dog toys all week. This thing is chewing through everything, so sorry for that toy tangent. So I don't know, honey, when you're going to get your confirmation. I don't know if Canadians are going to get a confirmation, but I can say I saw your paperwork go through. It's been sent off to Ford. So let's just wait. In the States, it's usually a day or two. Maybe in Canada, we have less staff. Ford did cut back on not the blue collars, but the white collar staff. I think it was 8,000 employees, while in Canada, there's a big chunk of that came from us. So maybe they'll just get around to it later. But I really do hope Ford Canada does send out confirmation emails. And I really think, I highly encourage Ford to send out monthly emails. I'd rather get an email that says, hey, we still have your order. We're still trying to process it. But this thing is super popular. We've got so much demand. Sorry for the delay, but it's going to continue on. And it's funny, back to the Consumer Ridgeline with Consumer Reports, the Honda Ridgeline with Consumer Reports. Part of it that I didn't understand is, just look at the numbers. How many people want a Ridgeline? Now, the numbers have gone up probably this year because there's people jumping boat from the Maverick and getting a Ridgeline. We see that in the comments, often enough. But traditionally, they're selling about 30,000. And then the Maverick comes out and I think they could probably sell 300,000 Mavericks this year if they could build 300,000, but they can't. They could maybe build 150,000 of them, maybe 200,000 if the factory stopped building Bronco Sports. Andrew Barley, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Really generous. So you said, hello, Johnny. You do a great job. I got my order in the first day. Yes, on the 15th with Long MacArthur Ford XLT. Carbonized gray, hybrid with the hitch. Great build, great choice. Nice. Good deal, very good dealership that you picked out right there. Really appreciate it. We're almost at the questions, so get ready to have your questions loaded up. So important dealer date, I must say. Yeah, sorry, syntax error. I made a syntax error. Or not syntax error, but an error. Yeah, 150,000 isn't possible for the Maverick. That's production if they stopped building Bronco Sports altogether. Because magically, they could maybe do 12,500 of each model every month with no constraints whatsoever in a perfect world. So yeah, it's not a perfect world. They'd have to basically just not build Bronco Sports and have those heated seats and various parts, microchips, all donated to the Maverick. It's not going to happen. I'd say maybe we'll see 70 to 90,000 Mavericks produced as 2023s, and time will tell if I'm completely off or not. So Marie is noting the questions that she can, because we actually get popped your questions on the screen for a very brief amount of time, but when we're done the little information session that we're doing, we're going to switch on with our laptop to the show, and then we'll really see the comments better, and you can always come back and ask them. So important date, October 5th, your dealer needs to have sent off the COVP to Ford for this to be good, for price protection to actually function. So make sure your dealer does get that. You should get a confirmation, so you can ask them, please send off my stuff ASAP so I get my confirmation ASAP so I can sleep better. Great info. My Bronco Raptor will now be a 23. Driven Wild Outdoors. Well, congratulations on getting a Raptor. I think that's awesome. And I'll be watching your channel to see that Raptor comment. And thank you very much for being in the show tonight. So that is a channel to watch. They're good people. We've gone off-roading with them and enjoyed that quite a bit. Yeah, we have the chance
to meet them.
That Driven Wild Outdoors, we had a chance to hang out, go to dinner, and do a little cruising on the beach. So they took us out and showed us their neck of the woods.
Yeah, and in the comments, he said before it was reported on 2023, the Bronco Raptor for in his case, but it will be in the code 99.
Okay, so code 99 means your dealer right now is like making sure it doesn't get built. So maybe you ask them to do that so that you do get a 2023. But if you're a code 99 at a dealer, that means your dealer is telling Ford, do not build this right now. So October 5th, what I'm worried about the October 5th date is if your dealer in the States did not convert your order. So let's say your dealer wasn't awake, you're at home, you're not awake, and you're, let's say like her, a July, September, October, November 2021 complex order. So that means hybrid with Lux, and they don't convert your order. I'm hoping they have until October 5th, and then Ford will be like, oh yeah, this is an old one in the system. We'll take it. But after the 5th, definitely not. And even now, if they didn't convert it during that period between, what was it when it opened up, the 15th of September to the 20th, those 5 days, I'm worried that maybe that means you're at the very back of the list. So Driven Wild Outdoors here saying, and now it's gone. We'll have to catch up on these comments when we switch over. So what happened basically? Why did this get sold out so quickly? Well, it goes back to what I was saying from pretty much the beginning of both sold out periods. I said, I think dealers should go ahead and make pre-lists, because it wouldn't be very, polite, gentlemanly, or Canadian if your dealer day one, September 15th says, okay, everyone, let's do this it's still called Black Friday. That's what we have, Black Friday. Let's do this Black Friday style. Go wait outside, have a few fist fights, try not to run each other over with vehicles, Don't trample anyone on the way in, but we'll take the first one sitting at the desk, and that's who will start converting and taking their orders. I like it. I like things to be more organized and civilized than that. I don't think that is a good idea, and hence why I've been saying have pre-orders, and I love it. Tim Bartz, he picked up on it, and they started doing pre-orders several weeks before the 15th so that they can start processing everyone in a certain order. So that's fantastic. I know locally they just, they started pre-orders from day one of being sold out so that everyone is still in the proper order and that there's a line. Because what happened is, well, when the order banks opened up, well, you had some people that had already knew what the order was. They're ready to go, and these dealers just put them in. Tim Bartz at Long MacArthur this week on his live show, love it, watch it every Tuesday. And his live show, they said that they put in a little over 700 Maverick orders. So you can imagine dealers that have a lot of a build-up list. Well, they all come in at once. So that's how it got sold out. So they got logged in real fast. And in Canada, well, I haven't heard the whistle blow yet. I haven't seen an email saying, on your marks, get set, go. But if you're a dealer and you're watching this, just go ahead and try to put in that Maverick order, and well, it's gonna go through. So a little plug. I had a bit of a lead start. I was actually trying to have it put through. My local dealer might be really annoyed with me this week or fed up, but they did get to find out on hers. That, oh, hey, geez, it's okay, it's on. And then it was like just putting them through, and of course in advance is important to have customers ready, knowing, hey, in Canada we didn't know what the price increase was going to be, but I think a smart idea was, if you're taking pre-orders, to warn people, hey, the Maverick might go up. If we're real lucky, miracle case, only $1,000, but it could go up $3,000 or $4,000 as well. So if everyone's prepped and ready, all it takes is a quick call. Yeah, signatures, you're good. I'll send everything to you by email, print it off, sign it, scan it back to me, and we're ready to go. And speaking of being ready to go, well, it's that time. It's Q&A time. So questions and answers. Hopefully I've got the answers, because I bet you guys have got good questions. I see Ridgeview saying that there are some great questions in the queue. So Marie, what's the first question that you picked up on?
Yeah, the first question, Javier says he ordered a 2023 and he has no confirmation from Ford yet. Should he worry?
If it's been more than 2 days, you should worry. Now, maybe your dealer, your dealer knows in the States, you have until October 5th to put in the COVP. Maybe they're building them all up and they're going to donate a period of time after closing, and they're just going to put them all in one night and spend 4 or 5 hours until 2 in the morning putting in all these orders and sending them to Ford. But I recommend call your salesman and ask him what's going on, because maybe you didn't get COVP'd. Now, if they didn't, they definitely should have at least taken your driver's license. They should have had you sign an order sheet. And of course now, and if anyone's remembers right off the top of their head what Tim Bartz said this week, you can say, yeah, hey Johnny, you forgot this one thing. But I know in Canada we have 2 other sheets that we get signed, and basically we definitely do have a purchase offer or lease offer that we sign. It's our way of showing Ford, hey, we showed the customer the price. They know what price they're going to pay, and we're signing that we're going to do this. So Ford, please take our order very seriously, because we're not going to lose our client. They're going to get treated properly and get the right price, so they're not going to walk. This isn't going to become that one rare Maverick for sale way overpriced because it's so rare. No, it's going to go to the right customer.
Okay. The other question is from Syntax Error. It says, Johnny, what is your take of some of the rumors on the MTC that some large dealer only got 11 allocation for the Maverick?
Oh, you're awesome. I may have looked like I may have had a dumb face on earlier, but it's because there's 2 questions that I couldn't remember that I want to cover on this show. And that was one of the questions. So thank you so much. I can take the dumb look off my face and try to put on a smart looking face. I don't know if it's possible, but I can try. That is an awesome question. So for those of you that don't know, MTC is Maverick Truck Club. So I'm on there. Not as a commenter, but I watch from a distance. And here's the thing. Yeah, I think 11 allocations, I have a feeling that's either one of two things is occurring. Either that's an unbelievably small dealer that forgot to say, hey, by the way, we're a really small dealer, or is too embarrassed. Sometimes when you're really small, you don't want to tell the whole world that you're really small. So maybe they're just have a little bit of shyness and they're embarrassed of their smallness, but they're either very, very small, or the other thing that it could be is those could definitely be an estimate of how many Mavericks they're going to get that aren't customer orders. So here's the thing. The Ford factory wants to print these puppies out. They want to get us, they want to feed our need for Mavericks, for Broncos, for Lightnings, all the models. And when the factory has whatever number of, let's say on the Maverick, they'll have, I don't know, 150,000 orders. I don't know what it actually is, but let's say they have 150,000 orders. But when those orders cannot be built because we all wanted, heated seats or a spray and bed liner or a roll-up cover or mud flaps or whatever they don't have sitting in the factory at that exact moment, and people's orders can't be produced, they go, well, we're still going to build one. Here is, whatever, XL or XLT straight EcoBoost Maverick that's going to go off to X dealer. And here's another thing to keep in mind. If you've ordered a hybrid, I'm sorry to tell you, the numbers don't add up. It's still the numbers I talked about 11 months ago, saying, or maybe a little later, but it's been quite a while, we've got an issue. So many people want hybrid. I've said it for, a long time now. There's about 70% people wanting a hybrid, and production of the hybrid overall is about 35%. I know I've been corrected at times because there were some months where it was 50-50 and Ford said, hey, by the way, it's 50-50 now. But now didn't mean forever, as of now until eternity. It just meant the upcoming, month or two. So generally, Ford is, I think, going to be building about 35% hybrids when the demand is at 70%. So that means the difference in between 35 and 70 is no Maverick for 23. Good news is if you've been converted and you came in before those sold out dates, November 15th EcoBoost, 27th November 15th, 2021 for the hybrid, January 27th for the EcoBoost. If you're within those pre-sold out dates, I don't see how it's possible that you're not going to get your Maverick. Unless, you've got a wild order and you're like, I want paint protection, I want the roll-up cover. Or if you ask, I want the space cab in the back over the box. Take these things off. Marie spent, I don't know, do you know how many hours that you spent getting our list of accessories? You played around that for in the last few months, but she'd put in, half an hour here, half an hour there, then the links wouldn't be good anymore because too much time went by. But she worked on it for quite some time, and the reason for that... I
don't know how much hour, but I was looking at some stuff that could be cool, and for the Maverick, the Bronco, the Lightning.
Well, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. And I made that list because you want to keep your Maverick simple. And I'm not telling people to not get Copilot 360 and not to get 4K. And I'm definitely not telling people to not get the luxury package. Just know the luxury package is the biggest delay of things that in the luxury package you can't replace aftermarket. You can't replace and get once the truck shows up. Heated seats, yes. It's not that expensive. In Canada, it's about $350, $400 a seat. And they'll be decent. But things like any of the box add-ons, even splash guards, just get it from your Ford store or pick it up off if you want to help the channel out, pick it up off my Amazon affiliate list, because when you click on that, And even if you don't like, let's say, the roll-up cover for the Maverick or Lightning or F-150 that I picked out, even if you pick up, while you're still logged in, you pick up another product, well, Amazon's going to go, hey, this Johnny guy, he brought traffic to our site, so let's help him out. Let's give him a few bucks. So just to give a little disclaimer, I do get a few bucks if you do buy after clicking on one of those links, even if you go out and buy something else. I certainly won't be offended if you don't like my taste in things. But by the way, Marie picked them out. So if you don't like it,
So
you're upsetting
my
her.
choice.
You're not liking her taste in things. And I think
that's fine.
if you're a guy, I know her taste in things is better than my taste of things. But back to the show, let's get questions. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
honey.
I saw that many people were asking. I have, for example, an hybrid Lux package. How many times should I expect to have my delivery? But I know you already said it in a few videos that it always depends on the number of cars that the dealer can have.
Yes, versus where you are on their list. So yeah,
So it's difficult for us to say, okay, yes, you're that number
Mm-hmm.
of priority, we can say it. So I'm sorry for, because I see few people asking that question, but we won't be able to to say it right.
now here's an example. There is a trick. You can ask your dealer 2 questions. You can just ask your dealer, what number am I on your list? And about how many are you going to get for the year? And I think Tim Bart said it well. He said, well, last year they sold about 600 Mavericks. So this year, based on what Ford has said, they should get maybe a little over 600 Mavericks. Now they have 700 that have been ordered for them, from them within, all their conversions. I think they had about 100 and some odd that got converted, and then about 600 more new orders. Well, most of them, if not all of them, will be filled. Now, of course, things can change in the future, and Maverick production could be cut in half and it could be doubled. We'll have to wait and see, but generally Ford pretty much gave the indication of, with the new system, and I have a whole video on how the new system works, it's very important that when the vehicle shows up on your lot, you deliver it to the customer, or if it's inventory, that you sell it very quickly, because basically if you perform high, you're going to get you're going to get high volume. You're not going to get high, you're going to get high volume. So you turn them over quick. That means Ford knows it's your proof. You're not asking 10,000 more for a vehicle. Otherwise, it wouldn't sell within 2-3 days. So basically, dealers, when your vehicle shows up on the lot, you need to sell that within 7 business days if you really want to be performing right for Ford. And of course, dealers that are going to get more Mavericks this year are dealers that, in the United States, that did proper COVP last year. And in Canada, it's going to be dealers that followed Ford's rules. So pretty cool. Ford has rules so that customers get treated properly. And now dealers that followed the rules are going to reap the benefits. So Ford is working hard to deal with dealers that are, having these crazy markups. And so this is going to help. I have got a whole video on it. So if you want to know more, just watch that video.
Perfect. Another question from M. Peugeot. He says, where's the incentive for Ford to take care of the reservation holders when new orders will get a full price?
Where's the incentive for Ford to take care of the reservation holders? Well, excuse me. Financial incentive is going to be rebates sent to the customer that they can then bring to whatever dealer. And your dealer is supposed to priority code properly the older orders so that Ford definitely knows and definitely sees, like, hey, the dealership saying, look at this one. So your dealership should be coding things appropriately. So on the Maverick, it's up to the dealers to code things properly. And on the Bronco, I do believe, unless there's been new news that came out that I didn't see, but Ford is definitely looking back on those reservation numbers and really trying to finalize all the last few reservations from, we'll call them the dark ages. When we were stuck inside, we'll call those the dark ages, 2020 and 2021, when we were forced to stay at home.
Perfect. Another one, Anne Cameron was asking, she's interested in extra price after a purchase, such as undercoating, and she wants to know what's important to add.
Okay, great question. If you're going to own an F-150 for only a year, or a Bronco for only a year or two because their values are just so darn good, great vehicles to buy. They don't depreciate very much. If you're going to sell them after a year, I'd say don't pay for undercoating. I will say that I have yet to, I'm in between. I'm not necessarily a fan of the oil undercoating that you need to put back on every year, because one year I had it done and it just came off in the middle of winter and the underneath of my vehicle really rusted out. I do like the kind of, there's, in our area, there's one product. It's kind of a mix between oil and a bit of a wax, and it really cakes on, dries on, and stays there. So basically it's a product that you only need to apply once every 10 years. It costs 5 times the price of just, the regular oil that's going to wear off. But that is what I like. That's something I consider. If it's a truck like the Maverick, I definitely consider putting mud flaps on it, because I call those, mud guards or stone guards. They're going to protect you from the good portion of the stones kicking up and ruining your paint, like they did on my 2012 Mustang. My 2012 Mustang that she first met me with, or re-met me with, she loved. She was pretty impressed by this Mustang. There's a picture to the over there right somewhere.
There.
Yeah, right there. That's me, 30 pounds heavier with my Mustang. And that thing I sold, I loved it, but I sold it because behind the front wheels, it was just, I must have had 150 stone chips behind each wheel. So now I either mud guard, or if it's a Mustang, I put little plastic clear squares on it to protect. We'll have to take Tony's question also. We'll have to actually, what we'll do, while you ask the next question, I'm going to use the laptop to go on to the show and see more of these comments.
Perfect. The next question from Laura Fuman. Do we know how many orders were taken?
We don't know how many orders were taken, but we do know that I think Ford made a really good call in calling out a sold out. There's no point in taking, let's say, if you can only make 100,000 of them in a year if things go well, why take 500,000 orders and lock in people's deposit? So I think it's good that they did say they did definitely say that it's sold out. I don't know the exact number, but they did it the right way, at least in my opinion.
Perfect. The other question from David Sanchez. Johnny, why is that Ford didn't anticipate the servers were going to be overwhelmed when orders open up on September 15? This is so disappointing and frustrating. Yeah.
Now what got overloaded? Yeah, probably the servers, but it might have also just been too much intel coming for once it becomes like a bit of human processing. It might have been too much for just the people that are there taking care of this. So I think you pointed something out that's good to note, but I don't have an answer to that one. I can't tell you exactly what happened, and I can't tell you. I'm pretty sure they anticipated they'd get a lot and planned accordingly, but I think it was even more than they expected. Because I think maybe at a certain point, Ford was thinking, well, we've declared this is sold out, so when we open it up again, it's going to start, coming in, a lot per hour. But what the difference was is it just basically all came in within an hour. It didn't come in, a lot per hour over, a month's time. It poured in within basically, 4 business days. So it was a tremendous amount of information and demands coming in. So that's that. We'll head up to the next question. Now we got them, just to let you know, we got them over here on the right side.
Next question from Oscar. So we know now that some of the 23's packages take away some few things. For example, Lariat Lux, no more spray liner, remote start. Do you know if the price will be lower for the package?
Now, I don't have the pricing numbers right in front of me. Actually, I do have the new pricing numbers, and we'll have to go on memory because I don't have the old pricing numbers. But let's look at this. XLT luxury package, $1,730. I thought for 2022 that was more. So I thought the XLT package went down a little now that it has less. And if I'm wrong, please, we're here as a community. No one can have all the right answers. We're here to work as a community and we want to grow this community. So like, subscribe, and share. We want to grow the community so we get more intel. The more intel we have, the more all of us learn and know. If Maverick Truck Club had 100 members, there wouldn't be any good information on it. But because they have a lot of members, guess what? They've got a lot of good information. Well, I want the same thing for our community here and have a bit of an esprit of helping each other out. And tonight, this is my turn to help out. I get to answer your questions because sometimes, I'm sorry, if I make a video and, the videos that get, 20, let's say 20 or 25,000 views, if that comes with a couple hundred or several hundred comments, I just have to stop doing the show for for a week or two, just to get through all of them. So please come to the Q&As and encourage other people to come to the Q&As. I'm here for this. We'll take the next question.
Yeah, perfect. Another one from Syntax Error said, so what's the best way to get my dealer to sign an invoice which lists the price and fees after placing my order for a 2023 Maverick?
Your dealer might. And the power you had was to switch dealers. So ideally, anytime you're buying a vehicle, it's there and then that you need to get things confirmed. Now, they've kind of got the bigger end of the stick. What I'd remind them, though, is, you didn't go elsewhere. If you've been a client of them for a really long time, you might want to remind them of that as well. And, tell them you want a fair deal for them. You want a fair deal for you as well. And that, you do want this you do want this worked out on. And you can remind them, you're not just here for one vehicle, you're here for your future vehicles as well. And if they're still like, yeah, no, we're not promising you price, well, at this point, it's sold out. So keep your order there. But if you don't get built this year, when it comes to 2024 orders, well, then you'll have had time to shop for a better dealer. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Tim Bart's at Long MacArthur is a good place to get the right price. And I know I got a comment this week saying like, yeah, but Johnny, for decades, it was in the consumer's best interest that there is this competition amongst dealers and that dealers could sell for whatever price they want. Yeah, well, right now, the whatever price they want is 20 grand more and, some Mercedes at 100 grand more. It's crazy out there. And yes, for years, you could save an extra, maybe $500 or $1,000 by doing every single dealer. But more often than not, that's what started to get dealers to be real dirty because they had to be dirty to survive. If you make them fight for survival, well, the most tamed dog will bite you if it's fighting for its own life. And if it's a puppy, they'll bite you no matter what anyways, and you just got to deal with it. But the dealers, they had all these shady practices because it was basically you'd have a few dealers advertising prices that were below cost. And then once you get there, they had some story why that's price isn't for you. Oh, that's if you have, a military discount. That's if you, we advertised, here was a famous one that I saw often. Oh, well, we're advertising that price, yes, as an entrepreneur rebate. But by entrepreneur, we mean, and then they describe a company that's a huge corporation and is, essentially a major corporation that buys, 1,500 trucks or 3,000 trucks per year. And they go, yeah, you don't fall under, the fleet. You're not a fleet corporation. So that price is just for them. And then when they are, well, it would come with crazy interest instead of like the regular 0% or 0.99 interest. Well, then it would maybe have 9% interest or 12% interest. So some dealers were drawing people in with impossible prices, but then closing them just the same, which made good dealers playing fair go out of business or, always be kind of starving to death. And eventually, you starve you starve them to death. So eventually they got to fight for their food. They got to fight to survive. It wasn't a very good situation. And it made it this instant conflict between the people who are there who are supposed to be informing you, but they're on the defensive. They're used to getting beaten up. So guess what? They're on the defensive, and sometimes they're on the defensive with the wrong person. They come in strong, they're asking, it just made it so that negotiations were Maybe you love haggling. Maybe you love, some people love boxing. They love getting punched in the face for 35 minutes straight. But I don't think car sales should be like that. So that's my 2 cents to answering why I believe fixed pricing, that everyone should have the same fair price with, just enough profit so that the dealership can stay open, pay their staff, and that the dealership is there to inform and give you quality service instead of, that you have to fight and kick to get the best price possible. And the best price possible might be a price that, they wouldn't naturally survive on. So then they've got tricks up their sleeves to, like a boxing match. It was just a match, people swinging at each other until a deal gets pounded out. I'm ready for fixed pricing. So yeah, Andrew Barley, thank you very much. Please don't feel like you need to tip us every single show. But I'm going to answer your question here. So Andrew Barley, he's got a question. Johnny, putting an order in for 2-door Bronco Sasquatch package, eruption green, classy, love that green. So does she. Eruption green with auxiliary switches and tow hitch. I'm thinking 18 months. As probably as a global, semi-global average, because these are sold in Canada, the US, and I think Saudi Arabia, but generally 18 months. Yes, but oddly at some dealers, 8 or 9 months. And that would be dealers that have a very short waiting list, that follow all of Ford's rules. And those dealers, things go obviously quicker than a dealer that, even if they only have 30 Broncos on their waiting list, if they only get 15 per year, well then they've got a real problem because they're at a 2-year waiting list if you're at the end of the list. So try to get your dealer to tell you how many Broncos they've got in the system, how many roughly per year they get, and hope they don't BS you, because then bring it on the show and I'll BS bust them. So great question. 18 months would be an average, but at really speedy dealers, it's going to be 8 or 9 months, even with a 2.7 liter, because basically what you're describing, I've seen that personally come in within, and I've shown it on the show. I take pictures of what's coming in and I say, hey, by the way, these Broncos took this amount of time. So I'm talking from experience. But in the United States, a lot of dealerships do have a lot of Bronco orders, and in the Canada, it takes us a little while. We're not, the general population isn't car obsessed. We're car curious, you could say. But I'm one of those rare birds. I'm 100, I've got, my DNA must be like, well, actually, the pages actually originally come from the States. So yeah, I guess I've got some American DNA in me. I love my vehicles.
Perfect. So the other question is from Jabberbox. Can you explain the difference between Aero VP or NCO VP? Thank you and love the channel.
Oh, thank you very much for the support and encouragement. I thought maybe, Marie, you were calling me Jabberbox, because I'm a bit of a blabber. I'm more of a blabberbox. So ROVP and COVP. ROVP is just a confirmation system. It's essentially the same thing. It's just COVP was the terms used for the Maverick, and ROVP, well, that's what we had for like F-150s. I think it's Reservation Order Verification Process. It was just showing to Ford you've got a real reservation on your hands. Ford wants to get these vehicles to the right people. They don't want to just build them so that the dealers can stock them and put them overpriced. That's not helping Ford at all. Ford is fighting hard in many ways that I've covered in several videos to fight these markups. And I don't know if I could still do this channel if Ford was sitting back and doing nothing. I'd have probably too much frustration, and I wouldn't want to do videos where it's just negative. These videos actually, I get out the correct information, the real deal, the intel, and I feel a lot better getting them out. If I only had bad things to share, I'd have to switch and cover a different brand. So the WB, could you help me out? I don't have my glasses on, hun.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that one. So my question is how can one make a 15-minute show into 16 minutes? Well, my personal comment and my content, by the way, I said it'd be like
15, 20 minutes, I think, at the beginning of the show. Maybe I said 10 to 15. I think it ended up being about 25 or 30 minutes.
He
But
always
yeah, now
has trouble to calculate the time. He was saying that about me when we were doing renovation. Oh, it will only take 1 day, and finally it took 4 days. And now he does the same with the channel.
Yeah, what Marie is saying is
he was so frustrated at me when it was me who has trouble too.
when it's your passion and you have fun doing it, the time just flies by. And actually, the live shows, I love hanging out with everyone. I love the questions. I like being able to go back and forth and interacting with you all. So that's how we end up having an hour show. With Marie, with renovations, it's because she's so passionate about design and renovations that she would say, we first moved into the house and she was like, oh, this is like 3-4 weekends. And I was like, no, this is like full-time 3 or 4 months of work, full-time 40 hours
I
a
was
week.
just so motivated.
The both of us. And of course, that's back when I drank beer. So I knew that in the afternoons, I'd work really fast for a little bit. And then my speed would kind of slow down until I'm on the couch at 4, maybe having, a beer I shouldn't have.
To relax, yeah.
To relax there because I've got a bad back. But anyways, we'll take another question.
Okay, another one from Ramsey. So I got in my email from Ford. Does that mean the order is in?
Congratulations, Rumsey. You've got the secret sauce right there. Yeah, your order is in. When you get that email confirmation, your order is in and it got put in properly because it's proof that Ford got your email. For Ford to get your email, they need to have the document scanned. So unless your dealer really messed up, it'd be kind of odd that a dealer would would fax to Ford or fax/scan an email. It'd be weird that they'd send just your name and your email, but then not your driver's license and not your actual build. So I don't see how anyone would kind of screw that one up. So yeah, you're 99.99% in the clear. Congratulations. M. Peugeot, JCC and R, by the way, you misunderstood question. But you asked a clarifying question. Could you ask it again? Because otherwise we're going to be scrolling and it might take us quite a while to get back to your clarifying question. So we'll just wait for that to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I can consider offline. Buddy, email me. You've emailed me before. Love those Ferrari pictures you sent me. Cracked me up. Beautiful vehicle and good comical pictures. So by the way, you can send me if you want. For example, if anyone in the crew here, if any of the subscribers wants to email, if you have pictures of a car, your Maverick's interesting, your F-150 is interesting, I can post it up on the Instagram channel. So if you haven't already done so, do join our Instagram channel. It's under Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. You can also follow us also on Facebook. I often put these videos onto Facebook as well, and sometimes I'll have videos that are just going to be on Facebook because I don't feel it's quite the right fit for the channel we've got here. And of course, there's some little mini segments we do that's just going to be Instagram exclusive, just little shorts. For example, the other night I did a video with Marie getting flowers and a pizza because I want to remind all you guys, don't get accused of buying flowers only once a year. Now is the time. Make it happen. Buy those flowers. And, I'd say at this time of year, don't go flowers and box of chocolate. It's a tell. They'll know you're only doing it because you don't want to get accused of buying flowers only once a year for Valentine's Day. So get pizza or something, and then you're good. So let's see here the next question.
Yeah, from Bill. What's the realistic timeline for my trimmer? 13 months for just giving up and moving on like last year.
Okay, yeah, no, good question, Bill. I understand. I can understand that at times we can get frustrated. She's July 21st. Luckily, she doesn't have any add-ons like mud flaps or a roll-up cover, or now, thankfully, Ford listened. It's awesome. Ford listened. They took the darn bed covers and spray and bed liners out of those luxury packs. So we're hoping now this is going to make things move and she's getting built. But the tremor, now the thing is, the tremor, it's new. And these often mean getting them later. So it all depends when they start building the tremor, and it also depends where you are on your dealer's list. If your dealer is going to, let's take even numbers. If your dealer is going to take Actually, this is pretty important for everyone. Here is the production percentages on the Ford Maverick. And let's say a dealer gets 100 Mavericks for the year. Let's say it's a normal size dealer. So Tremor, they're going to build, 8% that are going to be Tremor. And if you ask for Tremor with appearance package, it's only 3%. So only 3. So if 3 other people ask for Tremor with appearance package and you're number 4, you're not getting it as a 23. And if you asked for just the Tremor package, but you're the 10th and Ford's building them at to 8%, well, the dealer is going to get also about 8% Tremor. So they'll get about 8. So if you're 10th, you're in trouble. So all math that we can do if your dealer's honest with you, saying about how many they're going to get about. Now, here, keep this in mind. This is the breakdown for the 2023 Ford Maverick. Thus far, bed liner with spray-in, only 40% of builds can have that spray-in bed liner. And I'm surprised it's even that high. I'm very surprised. And if it wasn't written down, I would not believe it. I would have said maybe 10 or 15%. But apparently 40% can have spray-in bed liner. Don't risk it. Lariat luxury package, 25%. And that's, I'd say, globally. So that's EcoBoost and hybrid. And I'd say a lot of these are going to go into the EcoBoost. XLT luxury package, 30%. So a dealer that gets 100 Mavericks, 30 of their Mavericks can have luxury package. That's why Marie didn't get built last year. And I believe the percentage, I don't have them, but I believe 2022 Mavericks, the percentage for XLT luxury package was less. And of course they can build more EcoBoost. So we added a constraint on top of a constraint. The hybrid is constrained because they can build about 35% of Mavericks as hybrids. And then on top of that, the XLT luxury package, well, most of them are going to go into EcoBoost, and then some of them are going to go into the hybrid. So it's cutting a percentage and then cutting it again because you have 2 constraints. Then you don't want to cut it a 3rd time with a 3rd constraint. Ford Copilot 360, 60%. 8 bed tie downs with locking rail, 45%. Thank you, Ford, for moving that from the Maverick luxury package. We want what's in the luxury package. We can always add it on for people that really want them. And actually on the internet, you can still, on the American side, I believe you can still build maybe a 2022 Maverick. And if so, you can compare 22 Maverick versus 23 and know if the luxury package has gone down in cost, but I believe it has. They took things out and the price from memory has gone down. But the overall price of the Maverick definitely has gone up. There is inflation and whatnot. So I'm ready I think we have a few more questions before we wrap up the show.
Yeah, we have so much tonight, so I guess we won't be able to do all of them, but for the next week, if you want to repose the question, I guess it will be the best way to do it, because if we do all these questions, I guess we have for another hour.
It'll turn into a 2.5-hour show.
Thank you, thanks.
Thank you.
We know because you asked a lot of questions and you write some comments in the chat that you really love our show, so we appreciate it. But keep if we didn't have the time to respond tonight, keep it for next week. It will be our pleasure.
Yes, and just a comment about the percentages. The person that commented that, who said that syntax error, if they say 4%, I was kind of breaking it down into dealers, thinking that would be more explainable. But if they make 100, you're completely right. If they make 100,000 Mavericks and they say 4% of them can have mud flaps, it's 4,000 Mavericks, unless later on in the year that number goes up or goes down. The important thing to remember, not break our brains over the math. It's just get these things from your Ford store or support the channel if you want and get them through the little links that we put on the channel. So we don't want to do a 2-hour show because that often scares people away. I actually get a lot of comments saying, Johnny, I love your short content, but I'm not going to watch this because it's 2 hours long. Cut it back and I'll watch. So because I cover important information in this, I want to try to make the live sessions more accessible to more people, but still do them once a week. And it's also my promise to Marie, because my back can't sit here for 2 hours. I'm already in pain. And Marie doesn't like to be here for 2.5 hours. because, well, she enjoys the process, but she gets tired pretty early. You know, you don't.
Yeah, normally it's the hour that I want to go to bed.
Yeah, you don't end up looking this pretty by going to bed late at night. Am I right? If you go to bed late at night, you end up with a face like mine. So she doesn't want that to happen. So she's gonna head to bed pretty soon. Well, is there one last? Was there a really urgent question, or will we save it for next week?
Yeah, we can do one last. I have here Bitcoin Mike. He said, if I order a base hybrid with 0 add-ons, would it mean that he could get it faster?
Yeah, definitely. Bitcoin Mike, if you order either an XL hybrid or an XLT hybrid, you will get built. You're going to pass people that are ahead of you who want luxury package, because once again, when the factory doesn't have enough components to make a luxury package or make those luxury package with sliding rails and bed liner and remote start and on, a lot of people want it all dress. Well, if you want it all dress, it's like the pizza store when they're out of ingredients to make all dress, because they're missing even just one or two of the ingredients you asked for. They're not going to make the pizza all together. They're going to pop out a pepperoni. But guess what? Dough, cheese, and sauce went into that pepperoni pizza. And that's how, on BRONCOs, some people just kept getting passed over and passed over and passed over. And the system probably isn't perfect. And I don't have any evidence of that, but when it takes you 2 years to get your Bronco, you know that the things obviously weren't perfect. And a lot of that is on dealers, and some of that maybe is on the, obviously when they build that pepperoni pizza, yeah, dough, cheese, and sauce went into it. That could have gone into yours, but yours just wasn't buildable because they're missing one or two things on it. And these are real problems. These aren't made up. The constraints, transportation problems, lack of employees kind of everywhere. Who knows where they went? I don't know.
And it's already long to have an hybrid, so if you had some stuff...
Battery prices have increased incredibly, but I think it's great. Ford hasn't stopped saying... Ford didn't go, you know what? We're not going to make the Mach-E. We were making a tiny bit of money, and now cost has gone up by $24,000. Scrap it. We're dropping the electric project. We're not doing it anymore. They continue making them. The Lightning, part of the cost has been put back on us, as we see that. We feel obviously that the increases are tremendous, but on Ford ends they're costing them even more than that. Our price increase isn't as much as their cost to produce has increased. So I think Ford is looking at this kind of like marketing. They used to spend must be hundreds of millions of dollars per year on marketing. These things are selling themselves. They're paying way less on marketing, but they're getting hit up with battery cost. The battery cost has gone up tenfold, 1,000%, so tenfold. And that, who knows, if this keeps on, that means it's going to push hydrogen technology, which is pretty darn interesting, or just different batteries. And different batteries could actually be a really good thing. Tony says he owns a pizza. Philly, we we're on the highway by Philly.
Not that far.
If that happens again, you're going to have to email me your address. We'll save it and be like, we're going there next time we go down to Florida. That'd be so cool. Just
I was asking you if we should stop there to go to the hotel to cut the travel in two. So I was asking about John to go to Philly.
Well, I'd like next time we go down to Florida, I'd like to have a few stops where, and who knows, maybe no one will show up, and that's okay. We'll hold hands and walk our pooches. But next time we take, we do a Cruise in USA trip, and we do 50 hours plus on the road. I'd like to have a few planned stops well in advance so we can hang out with the community. Tony, I do want to visit your pizza shop. That would just be so cool.
Yeah, and just before he was saying he was making a pizza right now and having all the ingredients.
Every time I see, pizza has garlic in it, and so every time I have pizza, I have a bit. My body reacts poorly, but boy, do we ever love pizza. That's why last night
so good.
I was like, Marie, I did a little short. And I'm like, Marie, flowers. And she just was looking at the pizza box and was like, hey, I also have flowers, by the way.
Yeah,
we love our pizza.
I really love pizza.
Okay, sorry. So that's going to be the show for tonight. We got to try to keep it. I aim for, let's say, 30 to max 60 minutes now. That'll be the new format, but we will try to be here every single week answering questions. So thank you, everyone, for watching. Really appreciate it. Bless you all for being here. Please bring your questions next week. And if you want to get this important information out, just share it. And once we're out of the live, you can even go back and just drop a comment and say, like, bad show, great show, too long, too short, whatever it may be. And those comments are actually going to make YouTube go, hey, people are adding information to this. We better put it out. Must be important. Merci et bonne soirée, Anne Cameron. Merci beaucoup. Très apprécié. There's a little bit of French for the show. Ridgeview, thank you so much for moderating tonight. You're awesome. Thank you so much for the members. Your members are really helping to support the channel, helping me pay when I scratch up the Mustang, put drones into the ceiling, John Ashton. And of course, you always have those super stickers that are non-obligatory, but John Ashton, very generous and very kind of you. Thank you for everyone. Really appreciate hanging out, and see you next Friday. I love these shows with y'all. Take care, and I'll try to remember how to log out now.
I'll do it.
You're the pro. Merci. Thank you.